I always wonder the road that I took to become an attorney. I think it started back when I was in high school. We had an unbelievable personal injury attorney come, and there was a group of people that were sitting down in a small auditorium. We're listening to this attorney give the opening argument to one of the cases that he was handling. And I looked at him and I was like, he's so eloquent, so succinct, so perfect with the way that he presented his client's case that he had me eating right out of his hands at the opening argument of his case. And I said to myself, I want to be that guy. I want to be able to communicate like that. I want to be able to represent my clients like that. And from that, it started a process of just going into different aspects of the legal field. When I was 19, I started working with a personal injury lawyer. You should have seen me. I was knocking on probably 1,000 doors, going up and down back then in 1989. To the Century City Towers, knocking on everyone's door, just wanted to get my foot in the door, not knowing where it's going to lead. Eventually I bumped into this guy that I ended up working with for 10 years, and I got all my skills, training, and support from a small firm, being a big fish in a little pond. I learned a lot, and it suddenly led me to the area that I'm in today, which is the area of property damage insurance claims and insurance bad faith. I think the best way for a client to narrow down and choose their lawyer is understand the passion of the lawyer. I think that's really critical. I have a passion for what I do. I come to work and it's not work for me. It's really a passionate drive towards helping the people that I represent in a very specific niche field. So yes, it's very difficult if you're trying to pick out a shark among all the sharks that are available in a personal injury field, for example. Well, I don't practice personal injury. It's very different. My area of practice is primarily having to do with damage to properties, okay? Residential and commercial properties. So I have a passion for real estate. I love that, okay? And how it affects people's livelihood makes a big difference. So that's where your attorney comes in. Those guys that have a passion for interpreting insurance policies, in understanding real estate, understanding businesses, understanding commercial and residential properties, and being able to navigate through those. You have to have a passion for that to be able to effectively represent a client. And so if I were to ever tell a client how to pick your attorney, is make sure they're passionate about what they do. So the kind of cases that come up in my particular niche field, again, have to do with damages to property. So how did that damage occur to the property? There's my case is primarily involved in fire cases, like all the victims that are unfortunately going through the Woolsey fire right now. As you can see, up and down the coast in California, lots of people's homes burned. So one of the types of cases that we handle are fire cases. Other types of cases are water damage cases. So you look at all the plumbing components into a house and how did water get in, rain cases. Those are another type of water damage cases. But in between all these type of cases, you get some unique set of cases as well. Okay, so the interesting cases that I want to share with you that would be interesting for the audience to know would be, for example, we recently had a client that had a standoff with the police at their house, and the person ended up brandishing a gun, shooting at the police, and the police shot back inside the house. So bullets flying inside the house. And eventually this person committed suicide. And this was a high-profile case, actually. They shot themselves in the head, and so there's blood all over. And then the poor dog that was there ended up, walking on the blood, walking around the house. And so the question is, like, what is the appropriate remedy for a homeowner that had rented out his house, and what are the damages? So we had like an ongoing dispute with an insurance company where they thought like $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 worth of cleanup and stuff like that would be enough. Well, and I failed to mention that the police also threw tear gas inside the house. So the response that like we would get on this type of case is just open your windows, air out the gas, mop up the blood, and you're good. But that's not really the case. So how to navigate through that case is a surgical and methodical process. And turned out the house had asbestos, the bullets went in, it was an environmental contamination because of tear gas. So the blood, the brain matter that was on the floor, you have to have a hazmat team come and clean this up. So it ended up, actually, what happened was gutting out the entire house was the proper remedy. Okay, all the loss of rent that came in. So what like the insurance companies thought it would be like a $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 claim is really more like $500,000 to $1 million worth of damages. And that's what we do. It's a very surgical process to go through these type of cases and deliver the results that the homeowner deserves and is entitled to under their insurance policy. So that was one of the interesting cases that I just been recently working on. Answering what is my favorite case is like asking a parent, who is your favorite child? They're all my favorite cases. Every case is unique. It has its own DNA. And by DNA, I mean it has its own ownership. Every policyholder, homeowner, residential property or commercial property holder is going through their own stuff in their own life at some point in time, right? So you have to know how to deal with the clients. That's a unique set of situations that you get into. Dealing with the property itself is unique. The circumstances are unique. So answering a question about what is my favorite case, it's impossible to answer that. Every case is unique. It has its own DNA, and they're all my favorite cases. For the past 3 years, I've been the chairman of the Insurance Bad Faith Litigation Group for the American Association for Justice. This organization is absolutely fantastic. It's a national organization. So in my particular field, the Insurance Bad Faith Litigation Group, when I see all the players that are involved throughout the United States, there is a camaraderie that is there. There's information sharing. There is a network of people that are similarly situated in a very niche and small field. There's not a whole lot of us in this business, which is why when I go to the organizations, I almost know everybody on a first name basis. Obviously I've been chairing it for 3 years, but you get to know people on a first name basis because there's not that many people, which is why I keep telling everybody this is a unique niche field that I wish there were more attorneys in it. We really need the help. I wish there were more attorneys handling first-party insurance bad faith claims. It's a necessity. So I love that organization for a lot of purposes. The networking is amazing. The information that people bring throughout the United States is fabulous. You get to see how conduct of insurance companies are in different states. You're dealing with completely different laws, different insurance bad faith laws in every state. It's very different. We're very lucky in California. We have very good insurance bad faith laws, and in some other states as well. And then not so many good laws in different states. A lot of times through this organization, we want to bring change, policy changes to other states, make them on the par with how California and other favorable insurance bad faith states are handling their cases. So AAJ brings that opportunity up. When I was in undergrad, I went to Cal State Northridge, and I studied something that you would probably say, how's that relevant to becoming a lawyer? So I studied psychology. I got my degree in psychology. I have my bachelor's in psychology, and I think I practice more psychology in my business than I practice law, to be honest with you. There is so much needed in this area, being able to relate to another person, being able to understand and hear your clients, being able to not only relate, but also making people understand that you're on the same team with them, understanding the issues. This all comes from psychology. So my psychology background, I think, is something that I never thought would help so much in the legal field, but it is. Dealing with mediators, dealing with opposing counsels, dealing with judges, dealing with your own clients, dealing with your staff. All of this requires psychology knowledge, and that will make you a much better attorney, in my opinion. So going to law school, anybody can go to law school, get a degree. I don't care if you have your degree from the Harvards of law school or the correspondence of law school. I think your passion and your drive in the legal profession is what drives an attorney rather than where they went to school. What makes this law firm special and different is the axis that it's sitting on. It's sitting on certain principles that all of the partners agree with, such as we deal with people on a level of integrity. So we bring integrity to the equation. We bring trust into the equation. And honesty. Those are the principles that this law firm is built on. Integrity, trust, and honesty. When you have these pillars and your law firm is sitting on these pillars, nobody can move you, nobody can shake you. You can only build upon this. So the foundation of this law firm is built on certain principles. Those principles are integrity, trust, and honesty. And that's what we bring to the table. And when you bring that, what you get in return is respect. So you get respect from opposing counsels, you get respect from judges, you get respect from your clients. These principles cannot be shaken. And when you're built on that, that's what creates the success that we have.